Good evening, folks, and welcome to tonight's webinar. It is actually the last webinar that we're going to be having this semester. I know, I know. But we're going to have a pretty easy day today. We're going to be talking about colleges and, your future in general, and give you a couple different options of what you could potentially do um, in the current time to be as awesome as you can for future reference when college application time does come to be. So that being said, I'll go ahead and get started. We would like for you to fill out a survey at the following link right here if you're watching the YouTube video. If you're within a week of today, or actually not even a week, I'd say probably a couple days, so between today, which is the 4th, and the 7th, I highly recommend please fill out the survey. It helps us figure out what we can improve on to make next year better. And real quick, let me show you the survey. It's basically just, normal questions. Did you like it? Would you recommend it? Do you like the labs and the webinars? But notice the which class are you in? I'm Miss Saunders, obviously. I hope you know that by now. If I would highly recommend, though, putting both Miss Saunders and Mr. DeToy as your teachers, because more than likely you have gone to either the 4 p.m., which is taught by Mr. DeToy, or the 6 p.m., which is taught by me. But remember, I also taught the 4 p.m. back in the day, so please go ahead and click both of those when you do this survey. Please be honest. Your feedback really, truly helps make this course better for you in the future. Okay? So I'm going to pause the presentation while I let you all fill that out, and we'll get started in just a second with the lecture. Alright, so everyone's looking good here. So we're going to talk about engineering schools, and I know that's a really, really far out in the distance thing for y'all, but if you start looking now, I'd highly recommend it, and I'll discuss a little bit more about high school and your options in terms of taking classes a little bit later. So we got a list of the top 12 engineering schools in America, which I will be going over. Notice that there is a tie for the top 12 here, for number 12 here, which is between Princeton and University of Southern California. And I'll get to them in just a minute here. So when you're looking for colleges, obviously you're going to want a good engineering college, right? So one of the best engineering colleges in the world, if not the best, is MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is in Boston. So the problem with MIT, there's very few of them, is that it is a private school. So no matter where you are in the whole world, this is going to be your tuition and fees this year. So that just includes your classes and all the fees on top of that. Private schools are very expensive, but that doesn't mean that they're bad schools. They're very, very good schools. So the enrollment of MIT is 3,123, which is not a whole lot, but it is a very exclusive school, so you will have to put forth, a decent amount of effort to get in. But once you get in, you keep working hard, you will truly develop your skills as an engineer and go on to do great things. So this is in downtown Boston. It is an urban setting, so if you like being in the hustle and bustle of a big city, there you go. MIT is very well known for math, science, engineering, and so on and so forth. We'll next talk about Stanford, which again is another private school, a little bit more expensive. It's $48,000 this year. It has a similar enrollment, but instead of being in the hustle and bustle of a city, it is in the suburbs. I can't remember which city it's in, but it is in the suburbs, so a little bit quieter, and it's very well known for its numerous research projects. So if you're interested in doing research and development, you might want to consider going there. The next university is going to be University of California, Berkeley. This is a public school, so it is funded by state taxes. So if you live in California, which I doubt you do, you don't have to pay too horribly much, $11,000. And it's not too bad either if you're out of state, $26,000. And while I have it in my head, I'm not saying that this is going to be definite for you all when you get to college. A, it's probably going to be more expensive. Sorry, that's just inflation. But B, you are able to apply for scholarships and stuff in high school so that you don't have to carry this financial burden. Right? So scholarships in high school, keep that in mind. The enrollment's a little bit smaller, about 2,000, and it's also in downtown. And this is a very good school if you want to, go to it, because there are a ton of student organizations, which is great for networking, so meeting people with similar interests and job hobbies as you, as well as just similar extracurricular hobbies so that you can maybe make friends, just in general. The next college we'll discuss is the California Institute of Technology. Again, a private school, so we're looking at about $44,000 here. It has a very tiny enrollment, you'll notice, 545, which is a mixed bag here. You don't have as many people going there, but you have more teachers per student. So can anyone guess why more teachers per student would be a good thing? Yeah, they can help you more. Perfect. That is exactly right. You have more one-on-one time with your teachers, so you can develop your knowledge a little bit more efficiently than you would if you're left to fend for yourself. Never be afraid to ask for help, y'all. Just keep that in mind. I'm going to be doing a lot of keep that in mind over the course of this lesson. It's just going to be very helpful for you. All right? And again, this isn't a suburban area. I'm not sure exactly which city in California it's in, but it is well worth a look. So the next we got is Carnegie Mellon University, another private college, $42,000 per year, at least of this year. It's got about 3,600 folks that are going there, so again, pretty selective. We're in an urban setting, and it is known for engineering and stuff, but the cool part about it is it was founded by the industrialist and philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. I'd recommend doing some research on him. When I say industrialist, he did a whole bunch of stuff with machines and everything back in the, I think it's early 1900s, late 1800s, sometime around then. So University of Michigan, Ann Arbor is a perfect choice if you can't get into Ohio State. That's Mr. D being weird. He went to Ohio State. I don't know any of the rivalry stuff with them, but yeah, definitely a good choice in engineering schools for sure. Another public school, so if you are in Michigan, $23,000 a year. If you're not, $44,000, so about the same as your other schools. Again, another selective enrollment, $3,400, and it is in an urban setting as well. And just like with California Institute of Technology, the teacher-to-student ratio is higher, so that, more teachers for you, and close to half of its students have fewer than, classes have fewer than 20 students. So here we get to Georgia Tech in the middle of Atlanta, Georgia. Really, really cool place. When I say urban, I mean it is in the center of the city. There are high buildings everywhere. So another nice example of in-state and out-of-state tuition here, but this one's a little bit more well-priced. A little bit higher enrollment, but still a wonderful, wonderful school, and pretty close to us. So if you want to stay near your family in North Carolina, you're only a couple hours away down in Georgia Tech. So U of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, another inexpensive but very, very good engineering school. Another urban place, and with a similar enrollment to Georgia Tech, about 7,500, but it's incredibly, incredibly selective. All of these schools will be selective, but we're looking at one of the more selective schools when we look at them. Same with Purdue in West Lafayette. I'm sure you've heard of Purdue. Another public school here. So 10,000 if you're in state, 29 if you're out. Got a small enrollment at 3,500 and yet another urban setting for it. Then we get to University of Texas, Austin. I know some folks that went to engineering school here. Now look at the prices here. That's a good price. 9,500, 17,000. It seems like a whole lot of money, but that's a good deal. Pretty small enrollment for such a big city. And again, we're in the city. And it has a big Greek population. And no, I do not mean people from Greece, I mean sororities and fraternities, which will be good, again, for networking and making connections for, doing business in the future. So Texas A&M is a little bit different in how they do their tuition. They do it by credit hour, so normally a college class will have a set amount of credit hours. So your major classes will be about 3 hours, and labs will be 1. So what you're looking at here is $241 per credit. And when I say credit, that means that is 1 hour. So a 3-hour class would be about $700, or that's a little more than that. I guess it's closer to $800. But for in-state at least, and out-of-state it's a whole lot more. And keep in mind, you'll be looking at 15 to 18 credit hours per semester, and you'll be working full-time basically doing these credit hours. College is very intense. So the enrollment's about 3,500, and it's also in a city. It is a very good aerospace engineering school, number 10, and also very good for biological engineering, which is number 3 in the nation. The next we'll get to is Cornell, private university at $29,500 for tuition. Again, a quite small enrollment, but you'll be in the middle of nowhere, which could be good or bad. You'll focus on your studies, but there ain't nothing to do. They're cool because they have some interdisciplinary research centers for nanotechnology, supercomputing, and other stuff of the sort. The next college we'll discuss is University of Southern California. Actually, before I go any farther, does anyone have any questions about what I've gone over so far? I see a couple of y'all have been like, yeah, at some schools that I've mentioned, or I want to go there. Just remember, it's a lot of hard work, but I know that you all can do it. You're starting early. No questions? Alright. So, University of Southern California. We got another private school, about 28,000 to go there. A little bit higher enrollment, but still pretty tiny at 5,100. And yet again, we are in an urban center of California, specifically downtown LA. What's cool about this school is that there are more graduate students than undergraduate. That's very atypical. I'd say about 10% of the students at state, at least, or at least in aerospace engineering, which is what I got my degree in, were grad students. So it's very bizarre to have more graduate than undergrads. So maybe consider going there for grad school if they have some good programs there. And let's take a look at the world top 50 real quick. A whole bunch of stuff in China. Check out, we got MIT and UC Berkeley as 2 and 3. China, Singapore, China, US. So basically what we're looking at is China and the US, and I guess a couple of Singapore or Hong Kong are the best schools you're looking at. Anyone want to take a guess at what NC State is, which is also a very good engineering school? I got 54. Good guess. Any other guesses? Oh, 54th, because May the 4th? Well, yes, May the 4th be with you. NC State's actually at 121 in the world. So we're in the top 250. You want to know where Duke is? Okay, let's see where Duke is on there. Not Dual, Duke. 155. However, it does rank 20th on the best global universities. 155 is for engineering specifically. So I actually want to see what North Carolina State's looking at on best. We're at 212 for best global. So Duke's better in some things, but State's better in engineering, and that's what's up. So alright. Now let's switch gears and talk about community colleges. I'm not saying that when you graduate high school that you'll have a definite idea of what you'll be doing with your life. When you graduate high school, you're only 18, 19, 17, somewhere in that area usually, and that's pretty early to decide what you want to do with your whole entire life. I mean, I'm like an old woman now, and I still don't know all the time what I want to do with my life, right? So, community college might be a good idea if you're not entirely sure. Other reasons why you might want to go to community college is to be close with your family. Usually with community colleges, you will be commuting, so there's no dorms. And so you can live with your family and go to a community college. You can also not pay rent. It's a little bit cheaper, and by a little bit I mean a whole lot cheaper than going to a four-year college to start with. And you can get some good technical 2-year degrees from a community college. So just because you might have had a dream forever that you want to be an engineer, and say your grades aren't that great in high school, a community college will take you in with loving arms and give you a degree that will give you a wonderful paying job in a position that you will love. So don't knock community colleges. They're good too. So 4 degrees that are better to earn at a community college. So these are a 2-year degree or an associate degree. We're looking at engineering technology. I don't know what that entails. I'm sorry. Radiation and medical technology. So if you're interested in working in hospital doing, scans and analytics. Plumbing and heating. Now, do not knock this. You see your plumber, you see your air conditioning guy, and you probably think, they don't have the best job. They have to talk to people, do things, and stuff like that. They make good money. Do not knock them. You only need to do it for 2 years and maybe a year of apprenticeship, and you'll be making 50, 60K a year. And that's real good money out of college, especially for 2 years. But finally, dental hygiene. I'm sure you've all met a hygienist before, at least I hope so. Still a tough job, and you still have to go to college and get a degree for that. A 2-year is just as good as a 4-year in this case. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend getting a 4-year in this unless you want to become a dentist. So a couple community colleges around, one is in Charlotte, CPCC. The equivalent is Wake Tech up in Raleigh. CPCC and Wake Tech both are technical colleges, or technical community colleges, which means that they do offer STEM-oriented classes. So you can get one of these 4 desirable degrees, among many others, like welding, for example. But those of you that are in Charlotte, I'm sure you've seen a CPCC campus. You can be so close to your family, live at home, and still be getting your degree for a very inexpensive price. Even I've taken classes at CPCC before. You can even take them while you're in high school, get some credits knocked out. But I would highly recommend looking into the programs they've got there. So 70% of the students at CP wind up going to get 4-year degrees. There's 2 routes that you can go at CP at least. Doing calculus and basic engineering theory for the first couple years, and then transfer to a 4-year school. I highly recommend doing this, y'all. It's a whole lot cheaper at a community college, and then go to a big school after 2 years. Just saying. It's a very, very good idea to make your money go the longest. You get the same education for these first 2 years at a community college as you would at a 4-year college. Just saying. And the other route is more algebra technology based, where they'll train you, give you hands-on experience, and it'll lead exactly to directly to a job, that would be more your 2-year degree, your tech degrees, dental hygienist, yada yada yada. So either go for 2 years and transfer, or get your associate in 2 years and get a job straight out. And like I said, there are other, community colleges. You can move up to, say, Virginia Beach and go to Tidewater, another really, really good community tech school, as well as Monroe Community College in New York. Check out the links here if you're interested. I'm not going to open them up now. But, that is just something to consider if you're a little lost. Now, before I go any farther, I am going to talk just briefly about high school. Y'all are young, right? Y'all are probably 12 or 13. Still got a couple years before we even get into high school. But you're going to experience that people are going to want to tell you what to do with your life, right? Eventually you're going to have to, but you're never going to totally know what you're going to want to do. Definitely take the suggestions that people give you to heart. If they say, well, you're really good at this, maybe you'll want to look into this, you should probably look into that. Other people have insights about you that you yourself do not, but at the same time, you ought to choose the path that you want to choose. Okay? If you're just not interested in something, you don't have to listen to somebody telling you to do it. Obviously, don't do anything bad. I'm really talking about your future here. So when you're in high school, you're going to want to look for technical classes, right? You're not going to want to go into high school and just take a whole bunch of English classes obviously take them. They're good to be well-rounded. But you will want to focus on your technical classes, get your skills up early, see if you can enroll maybe in a community college. But don't overwhelm yourself. You should have fun while you're in high school. It's hard maintaining a social life and getting good grades and everything. But I do want you to really understand, and this is coming from someone who didn't have the best, guidance throughout my time. Understand that you're the one that decides your future. It's up to you to do well and nobody else. Alright? Any questions about just high school in general? And if you don't want to ask them now, you can always email me at that email, saunders.yeot@gmail.com. And I will be happy to discuss any questions with you. And I'll be happy to mentor you over the next however long you want me to as well. Alright? Y'all are quiet today. I'm surprised with it being the last day. So, alright. Now I'm going to discuss something that you can do now to see what your interests are in and how you can obtain the path to these interests, if that makes sense. There's a STEM education game called Ion Future. I'll show you the link in a second here. But it lets you take a look at all sorts of different STEM-related careers, as well as, so again, you can, all sorts of different stuff, not just one certain field we're looking at. But it'll tell you what exactly certain careers do, how to do it, how to prepare for interviews, some resources for you, and other careers that are similar and require similar courses to achieve this goal. They also have a bit of a game here that will tell you sort of how to tell you some of the things that people in certain positions are looking for. So obviously you're not going to need to take the same classes as a veterinarian as you would a special effects technician, right? Definitely not. But you can go through this game, see if your brain sort of melds with what they're looking for here, and see if you'd be a good fit. Now keep in mind, just because you may not be a good fit does not mean you won't be a good fit. It just means that you're going to have to work hard, which is really what engineering is about. Working hard, working together. So ionfuture.org is the URL here. Take a look at this if you are interested in doing so. So other stuff that you can do right now, I'm going to show you a couple of quick games, or I think just one. It's going to be the solar car game, and I'll give you the URL in a second here. Basically, it's a way that you can simulate building a solar car and drive it to see if it actually works pretty well. It's a good way to look into electrical engineering. Basically, as you can see here, putting a solar panel on a car and making it go as fast or as long as possible. So you're able to build different configurations and see if they're effective or not. The URL is tryengineering.org/solar.php. And again, if you're watching the video, which I think is going to be a little bit shorter today, you can definitely pause the video and copy down this URL. So before I open this up to questions for me, I just want to tell you all, thank you very much for your participation in Young Engineers of Today. It's been a real pleasure being able to teach you, and I'm really going to miss you all. I really love teaching. I do this all for you. You are our future, and the future looks so bright knowing y'all. So, alright. I'm going to open up to questions here. Questions about anything? Well, anything moderately relevant to engineering, rather. Does anyone have any solar farm they want to show me? Or not solar farm, vertical farm they want to show me? That would be great. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording for a second to see if anyone is interested or anyone has anything. No, you don't have anything. You're going to head out. Okay, well, thank you then very much for coming out. Nothing for you either? Well, alright. Gonna go ahead and end the webinar for today then. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully I will see you either next semester or during the summer camps in Raleigh, if you're feeling like it. So thank you very much, y'all. And I'll see you when I see you. Dream big.